All right, there we go. It helps if I unmute my mic. We got day 51 to start on today. We're going to be looking at the map editor. Yesterday we got some decor added. Well, specifically some out of bounds decor added, which involves setting up all the sprites for that. So today we're going to actually be looking at the map editor, Q5 or quaternary implementation part 5 map editor. I do have a couple of things I would like to show off first, because last night I also did a whole bunch of bug fixing, which I'm probably not going to show the individual bugs, but I did do something that is a lot easier to see. So I just run things here quickly. Oh, I forgot to draw my little crown. Let me just pop this on here real quick. Honestly, this is just the easiest hat to draw. I can't think of anything else, so it's my little party hat that I draw every day. All right, so I am going to make sure that I just pull up the different chats that I might need today. Although if I'm honest, I really don't normally end up needing the chats that much, other than really Twitch. So if I pull up all of the chats here. Pull these up, make sure that there's no audio coming from them. There's got to be a better way for me to just get all my chats separately, right? Rather than having to pull them up. Okay, so we're pretty much ready to get started now. I will run client. And we can get this off of the screen as this pops up here. Once it's picked up on the side, I should probably bug fixes. Come on. Dash. Isn't it amend? There we go. There we go. I swear dash AM is... Anyways, let's log in here. So, we'll see... First off, I need to make sure that I've got this placed in the right spot. There's really got to be a better way for me to do this. There we go, we're aligned. So let's see what happens when I turn sprites on. You'll see nothing really changed here. I'll go over to the tree. We got all the sprites from yesterday, but once I go over to the edge, there are a whole bunch of placeholder sprites for the out of bounds decor now. So it actually looks, rather than a whole bunch of squares, we've got trees, rocks, and stumps. These are all just very simple placeholders for the time being. All of these are going to have to be changed before, like, once we get actual sprites. I probably am going to have just placeholder sprites like these put in for pretty much everything, and then we'll go through one by one and make them look well. Because these, like, dead craggy trees are very rounded, and I kind of want them to be more angular and spiky. Also, so basically they're going to be like... and then have a dark shadow off here. So, hey Ocean, how are you doing today? With this being the main thing that I was working on last night that has something that can actually be seen for the change, I am going to minimize this and we can take a look quickly at what the map editor is going to support. Actually, we did that at the end yesterday. So I'm pretty sure I can actually just straight up start on the map editor if I minimize this. I'm pretty sure we went through all of this yesterday to make sure that overflow was editable as well, and then I did a whole bunch of overflow fixes in prep last night. So review the entire Q5 map editor. I mean, the trees that you can gather have had the trees and rocks and herbs that you can gather have had sprites for a fair bit of time now. But all of the decor that was added outside of the map, yeah, I made sure to get some placeholder sprites done up last night, just real quick to put in there so that it at least looks like something instead of just squares. So review the entire Q5 map editor, document, develop a to-do list plan to implement all requirements from document, then implement. All right, easy, quick little thing. So one of the things that I did yesterday was readdress the piety XP, the overflow, and the going out of overflow. So basically it should be, well, not that it should be, basically I increased the zones to be a 1 hour time that they're around. Finally added some pick mods and new forms. More maps again. There, you're gonna end up with a lot of them. I know that's your plan, but so one downside with having the piety XP on a 1 hour loop now is it's gonna make testing it a lot more slow, for lack of better words. I think the era still happens on a 5-minute chart though, which is gonna be interesting. Because there is the boss defeats, the gen part, overflow zones. Which zones are in overflow right now? Reset complete, new era. Zone boss arena entered overflow group. Why does the boss arena have overflow? Should probably add that. I'm gonna make sure to add that to the notes. Address boss zone entering overflow. Bosses must never enter overflow. There we go. That'll be important. So a couple of the things that I addressed last night for bug fixes are related to gathering. Basically, what was happening was when the inventory would fill up, and the last slot here had any items in it, it would stop checking if we could still stack in the last slot whatever we're gathering. Then the items would drop underneath the actual resource and there would be no way to actually pick them up. I fixed that, so now I think all the inventory bugs are fixed. When trying to gather with full resources as well, what ends up happening is actually the items drop under the user now, or under the player now. So with that being the case, I mean, I don't really have a good way to demonstrate that. Well, actually, if I just crush these, we'll grab a bit of wood as well. And then I think we'll run up to the rocks. If we go up to the rocks and grab those, that'll fill the inventory and I can show that it still stacks. You won't have seen the bug because it was just something that I found last night while tinkering around, trying to get the piety XP to work properly. Right now the piety XP should work properly, but like I said, I increased the loop to sort of an hour, which is gonna make, okay, so there's that. I can't just pick up the item and have it go into oblivion. That's how this is supposed to work. But the rocks should, anyways, okay, so if I pick up a rock, or if I mine a rock, I now have every inventory slot is filled, but I can still mine and stack on here, which was not happening last night, so I fixed that. I don't have a good way to prepare for overflow. We can go take a look at the boss. Basically, I just want to see what is left, or what is logged in the actual server logs based on what we're interacting with, because I'm trying to make sure we hit the point where we actually gain XP in piety. The current easiest way to have done that was literally just with, or the only way to really get XP was by fighting mobs before. But it's primarily supposed to be linked to the actual resources. We need to be very careful not get hit here by anything, because these are very strong. Like I said, they're very strong and they will one-shot us. I gotta run all the way back to grab that stuff again. I'm looking forward to having the map editor so that we can make these loading spots a lot more broad as well. All of the resources are very spread out. There's very few mobs. We need a lot of different things. We need the world feels very sparse and empty to me at the moment. It's great that now we have the out of bounds decor, and that makes it actually feel like the edge of the map, which is cool. But it's still just up one straight line along the edge of the map. That will hopefully be resolved when we get the decor in. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make the darkening happen in the map as well. It'll probably be with like a reverse filter, because this is the same applied with more opacity on a black background. So we'll probably add black with an opacity under any new decor that gets added in map to make that match the out of bounds appearance. Okay, so we've got our plan here. Okay, there we go. I think the boss does maintain... Yeah, the boss does maintain its stats after a fight. So this is the boss zone. Gained... offset, projectile count, and projectile speed. So... stuff scaling is going to be very interesting to see. My overall goal later is to have the scaling happen roughly every hour or two, based on the number of defeats that it actually has. But that will require a fair number of people participating. So this is how this out of bounds area looks as well. If I go up into the danger zone, you'll see that it has a different set of the out of bounds. Also, the to-dos are going to be adding overflow node config, adding block tile set, creating the editor. Okay. Let's see. It's on step 3. So this is how it looks when it's just the dead trees and the rocks. We do need to add like an actual cave one that's going to have like stalactites or stalagmites, stalactites. I guess we would want stalagmites showing because those are the ones from the ground. Stalagmites and rocks and actual cave things. Because it's kind of weird when you go in a cave and you're like, hey, why are there trees down here? Speaking of which, actually, it's probably not a good idea for me to go into the cave unless I want to completely lose my inventory again. We still don't have anywhere that actually has fishing. We don't have anywhere that has water. Again, these are all things that we'll probably be adding with the editor. I don't know how long it's actually going to take to get the editor built and working, but we should have it shortly. Or we should have it in not too much time. And then we'll actually get to modify the map around a bit. We'll start with probably the early forest part. And then we will start taking a look beyond that. We'll make sure that all the map editor works as we want with the forest part, or the first part of the forest. But adding the map editor is going to also add quite a bit of different ways that I will be able to build more on the game. Because right now, as it stands, most of the actual mechanics, like the actual game mechanics, are all in place. Most of pretty much the basics of gathering, combat, skills, resources, leveling, the overflow mechanics, the boss mechanics, or the boss era and the era mechanics are all in place. What we are still missing for the actual game mechanics is a questing system, the class unlocks and selects, and the chat system. Once we have those three, we will have all of the major core mechanics that I'm pretty sure we'll have all the major core mechanics in place. And then the goals after that will be to build out the world and make the mechanics more either in-depth or cover what they're expected to. Because right now they're very basic. They're the base implementation of what's going to be needed of them. Ooh, one thing I wonder if I'll be able to make work in the map editor, if I make a way to tile out of bounds and I like add, so say I make a way so I can tile out of bounds, and I add an area like this that I designate out of bounds, can I then have the procedurally generated stuff fill in here? Because if I can automatically get that, then I don't have to worry about manually placing the decor inbounds, and I just have to craft like the out of bounds shape. That'll probably be fairly doable. I think. Oh well. I should probably also increase the stack limits at some point. I'm also going to need to start going through and making some base mob sprites, some just very plain placeholders. Probably want to get the character as well. I was also thinking, I don't know if I want the character to just be 1x1. I think I might make the character 1x2. Like, how would that look? How would that look if the character was 1x2? Because if I do that, that means also the NPCs will be 1x2. Gotta get Jack over there as well. And I think that'll make them look more alive and less just on the world. We also need to make sure that we add larger nodes for like mining, for gathering, or for herbs. One by two. Investigate, make it. So we'll take a look at making 4 different types of herbs and rocks as well at some point. Probably around the time where we actually finish this phase, Q6 probably, when we're doing the UI cleanup. We'll extend some other things as well. That should make it more visually coherent, yes. How is this plan doing? Wow, it's already on the 3rd last step. This is going to be a lot faster than I was expecting. And silence. No one make a peep. Where'd my VS Code go? I lost it in all my tabs. Where'd my game go? I lost it in all my tabs. Yeah, I don't know about editing the main village first. I think we'll want, I could always edit the spawn area over here first, but I want to try editing, maybe that'll work. Because here we can add, we can just make sure we, add an, where's my drawing? We can add an out of bounds block over here to just block this off, this area off as well. Which will make this area feel a bit more conjoined rather than just being, oh hey look, we have a rectangle below a rectangle, and this area is kind of just empty. So yeah, perhaps this is the first area that we address. We change it around a little bit, make it feel a bit more incorporated. Hopefully we can try placing other objects as well, or other other tile types there, because we do have like path and arena. Well, arena's all going to go in the boss at the moment, but yeah, we have different tile types to test out as well. So I don't think there's going to be anything related to the being able to actually mark things as out of bounds initially. I know I can place things as place walkable and not walkable, but I don't think non-walkable will show out of bounds. I think it still requires me to manually define. But since we already have this out of bounds populating decor, I don't know why we would have to manually place decor otherwise. We should be able to just mark parts off as out of bounds and then have it render correctly. That's probably the best way to go about it. My mind's just kind of spinning on that idea a lot. Okay, so we apparently have a clean output. Clean build, render, fully rewrites helpers, and sidebar. So I'm gonna close this down. If I start up the map editor. Okay, I have a map editor. It's not picked up by a... Add source, add new source, Hatchet map editor. Window, where is Hatchet map editor? Okay, there we go. Let's try to put this in the correct spot as well. Which is roughly here. If I do this, does it cover... I'm basically moving this around so that the green dot gets covered by this, and then I know that what I point to is the same thing that you will see. So let's try to which area even is this? Danger pocket, danger dungeon. Okay, so most of these other things are not coffee, or are not red, no walk areas. Most of these buttons don't seem to do really anything. Ah. Well, that is not going to be very useful. All right, so we're going to be messing around with this map editor now, which, is going to be a bit of a pain. We're going to have to make a lot of edits to the map editor to make it actually good usable. I want to switch over to the city or the town. There we go. Okay, so we're going to edit the town a little bit, or at least we're going to try to. So if I block this whole area, using mouse to click doesn't seem to get the spot. It is to the side / down. Double check the next section. Y positions in the map editor. Using the middle mouse button drag to look around is backwards. Currently, I want to drag away from where I'm moving the camera. Alright, so if I close the map editor, restart the game. It's kind of cool we do have the map editor now, even if it's not perfect at the moment. Oh, that's the map editor again. I want client. So, open up the client again. I wait forever for it to show up. So I put this as non-walkable over here. And it is working, kind of. The game recognizes that I shouldn't be over there. But it's not acting as a wall. I can literally just walk into it. There's also no visible indicator of it. So that's the first thing that we're going to be trying to address. Well, I guess it's technically this is the second thing that we're going to be trying to address, right? Since the first thing is the controls that it's not clicking in the right spot and that moving the map is a bit strange. So after that, it'll be the next thing we're addressing. So technically, it's the second thing. So if I open in another one, go run / map editor. Controls, I don't like the current way. Yeah, the somewhere around here should be holy. Wood birch, wood pine, iron ore, herb, buttercup. So if I do these and I save, do I have to reload just the client, or do I have to reload the server? It looks like I have to reload the server at minimum, so I'm going to reboot the server, reboot the client. And then I'm going to wait for this to actually show up so that I can experience this and get it on recording. There we go. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Nothing changed. Nothing changed at all. So if I boot up the map editor again, what do I see when I go to look over here? Okay, so I see everything there still. If I hide this and we go and take a look at the actual town spawn, we see the nodes in here. So what that implies to me is that if we run it again, maybe, okay, I do see in the main town everything, or that there should be multiple, but not when I actually get over here. So what about going back? I see that there should be like a tree or something over there. Okay, there's definitely inconsistencies with this. And I don't see anything invisible either by just right-clicking around. So there's definitely something we have to address with that. Town main. Oh, maybe it's because the IDs aren't being added to them. I think that's probably going to be the case. And then the blocked tiles should probably be done as a breakdown of rectangular areas rather than individual locations. There's going to be a fair bit of editing required for this. Map editor might take a little bit longer than I was expecting. I was quite hopeful for this being something that would be done easily, but I guess not. Overflow branch? What? We're looking at the pan code closely. Anyways, let's retry the map editor. Okay, the drag works. Okay, we're gonna have to, right, probably should make it show up first. So you'll notice we still don't have the correct location. So now what we're going to have to do for this is, first off, adding resource nodes to a zone. They don't show up when playing. When up in the game after reloading server/client. I think this is due to the ID not being set in the configuration files. When a node is added. Also, the skills aren't being added to either. Let's find the correct ones. Also, the skill isn't being added to the node either. This needs to be added per node based. So the cat is trying to get me to feed them, but I think the cat still has food already, so I'm gonna go and quickly double check that beforehand while this is puttering. Alright, let's see how far this has gone. Now we see the full picture. Each node has many required fields. Skill, gather item ID, gather per or XP per gathered, depleted tile, none of which current new skill config sets the fixes to build a type template map by screening existing zone configs at a time. Generate a proper ID from the zone name plus position. Place node clones the template that sets the new position ID. Ooh. That could be bad. I don't think these should be zone configs. I think these should have a base config that gets used. These should be getting set based on a template from the zone, because what happens if I try to add a resource that is not already in the zone? Could have separate node templates in where and what. Node data templates. I don't think, yeah, Grep. Oh! Not that that's necessarily the actual case, but not like that's why it just happened to work that way. I find it kind of entertaining when it's like, oh, that's what I should have done. I don't know where it's going to end up putting them. I hope it just puts them in data. I hope it either ends up being data nodes or data templates. So I guess we'll find out in a moment, though. Wait a second. This is perfectly fine. This is perfectly fine. This is perfectly fine. There's something wrong here. What about the bottom right corner of it? Town is fine. But then the moment I go from town into... From town... What? These are both labeled as town. Oh, there we go, nodes. Should probably tell it to fix the nodes that were added in town main and town spawn as well. See, this always feels good when you see remove this hard-coded thing. Fix the nodes that were already placed in town main / town spawn. I don't like this being defined like this. This is too many points. We're gonna have to get the block tiles fixed as well. I wish I could zoom out more as well. Also, this is where the other danger pocket part goes. It would be easy to extend it that way. We will need to make sure that the mouse alignment works, because this is insane. I have an issue with how the what do they call them? How the block tiles are implemented. I do not like that they are single, or that they are one by one. I want large groups of them to be grouped together into a single entry, i.e. all of the blocked tiles in town spawn are one big rectangle, but instead it is tons of single points. This is data management as it currently stands. Either need to determine all connected nodes and see need to find the largest rectangle, find by connected tiles, and then make that one single entry instead. So this is a graph problem. This should actually be fairly simple. That's cool. In addition, I want to be able to mark tiles not just as blocked, but as out of bounds, so that they get a black transparent overlay to look like current out of bounds tiles, and then also renders the out of bounds decor on them. So this is going to be the big change. First off, we have to restart everything because we should have the nodes that we added now visible. So again, I'm going to make sure I actually got Hatchet over here. We'll hide the map editor right now. Throw on sprites, and look at that. We've got a couple of birch trees. We've got a couple more birch trees up here. Hopefully they should. Oh, perfect. They do block us. We are having. Oh, it thinks that they're 2 by 2. That's interesting. I don't know why they're being put 2 by 2. Let's check the other ones. And we're also blinking around them. So there's a couple of collision issues. But if I don't walk near them, it looks fine. That's 2 by 1. But it's only on the sprite that's actually showing. It just happens to be there's an extra area blocked. Okay. That's good to know. Hey, Kelly, how are you doing? Good to have you back. Well, the out of bounds area is kind of working now. It's still not working well, but it's nice that we can actually place stuff in the world now. I should probably try other placement types too. Also, it might be weird, but I might add a small zone here. Don't like this corner. Same with here. I think it might also start getting a little busy on the mini-map. First things first, though, we need to get it fixed. Well, there's two things we have to address right now. One, we have to address marking this area as out of bounds. This should be marked out of bounds by the map editor so that it gets treated the same way as all the other darkened areas. That's the first thing. The second thing is we need to fix the collision boxes around each of these nodes because they're currently much larger than they should be and causing very annoying movement around them. So those will be the two primary issues that we have to address. It is cool to see more nodes, though. I should probably also, well, I guess I'll just add other nodes that are not out of bounds stuff. That'll be decor stuff, because not everything necessarily needs to be gatherable, even if at the moment it all kind of is, except for the out of bounds stuff. So let's see what it came up with for a plan for this. Two separate problems: rectangle compression. Rectangle compression and out of bounds tile types. Let me see the current world zone building code before making changes. Have a full picture. Here's the plan. Add blocked rect struct with out of bounds bool config. Keep block tiles as legacy read only. Server builds block tile set from both. Editor uses the blocked type internally on save, compresses to rect new tool out of bounds mode, X key different overlay colors. Okay. Yeah, these out of bounds tiles don't get detected very well either. They kind of just get treated as like optional half the time. So I guess that's a third thing we need to address. There it is. I also, once we get the collision detection, we're also going to add a path down through here with probably some rock decor around. Long story short, we actually get to start building the areas, which is kind of going to be cool. We really got to get this collision issue fixed because this area is blocked. But it shouldn't be. The only other thing I could think of would be if there's somehow additional blocked tiles that are placed somewhere. Shouldn't be the case, but I'm not seeing anything when I try to write things. So that is concerning for me more than anything. I guess having a bunch of low-level resource nodes spawn out here is probably a good idea. Might keep people actually around here. Provided okay training spot. I've got to try to keep the cat appeased for like 45 minutes until the cat's feeding time, because that's always a fun one. Because if I keep feeding the cat earlier, then the cat will start bugging me earlier for food, and that's never fun. Oh, what happens if I roll where it's blocked here? Nope, I definitely hit the edge. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I might have gotten myself stuck. Ooh, escaped. Okay. Now update render to differentiate. I thought it was just about done. It's gonna be so much nicer when I'm actually able to place out of bounds stuff. Gonna have so much more control over the map. It's gonna be great. All right, let's try this out. So I'm gonna remove all of these. There we go. No, none of that. Whoops. Whoops. Okay. Now, if I grab the out of bounds and I draw in everything we need here. So really we're just darkening. Okay. Or at least black is for out of bounds here. Which kind of makes sense considering that that's how out of bounds is differentiated. Now the important thing should be if I do this and I save, I'm expecting this to be so it's giving an out of bounds rectangle there. And then if I save this again, this should become 3. Oh no, it becomes 2. Okay, even better. It's more optimized than I would have. It's even more optimized than I would have made it. Okay, that's good to see, because that's not how I was initially thinking that was going to work. I guess that makes sense. I'm not sure which algorithm it used for it, but let's reboot here. Not a good sign. So we're gonna have to print screen this, and then more importantly, we're gonna have to walk into it and print screen this. So, couple problems. One, the out of bounds area is not rendered in the world after reloading everything. I think I reloaded everything, right? I'm gonna just do that real quick again. The rectangle compression looks great. A couple problems. The out of bounds area is not rendered in the world after loading everything, and I can walk into the out of bounds and block tiles. And then it dead reckons. First most important part of this is the out of bounds area not which needs to be resolved first, then the collision. Okay, so we will get that fixed. Come here, kitten. Come here, cat. There we go. There we go. There's the cat. This is who's always bugging me for food. This little one's always bugging me for food. So, that's just a visit from the cat, because I finally decided that rather than running around my legs and try and get me to go feed them, I was gonna pick them up and show them off on the camera. But no, the cat would rather walk around my feet and meow at me instead. Pets are fun. Yeah, I'm gonna add like a mini zone here and like a mini zone here. Or I will just extend the size of this current. I can extend the size of the other zones and then add out of bounds areas. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what we're doing with it. Also, I don't know what the purpose of a lumberjack necessarily collecting a whole bunch of birch wood is. You know? But it's a easy wood to include. Oh, I also just noticed that the mini-map doesn't like them when they're very close together. We'll be going back to the mini-map soon enough. Now I understand the full picture. The zone payload and zone transfer payload don't carry locked rects. So, I got cat hair everywhere. So the client never learns which inbounds rectangle. Wow. So the client never learns which inbounds tiles are out of bounds. The render floor darkens tiles by checking? Wow. Checking zone boundaries. Editor marked out of bounds tiles are inside bounds and render at full brightness. Let me find where the zone payload are built on the server and trace the full fixed path. I'm gonna go just wash my face and get the cat hair off, so. Okay, we're back. Let's see where we're at. Oh boy, it has everything that it needs. It's always fun reading through some of these. The fix requires threading out of bounds rectangles through the wire protocol so the client knows which inbounds tiles are editor marked out of bounds. Let me implement it across all the files. Also realizing I can do hidden walls and stuff. My my propensity for chaos is showing a little bit right now, because what I really want to do is make it not show up on the mini-map and then add a hidden path that goes back this way. Hidden path, hidden zone. Ooh, it could be fun. Maybe unlocked by quests. Don't know. We'll see once this, Oh, maybe this will accidentally fix the collision detection on the other nodes that are in. Oh, I should go check how the collision is on the nodes that pre-existed and the new nodes. So this node's fine. This node is fine, but not fun. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it's working correctly or not. Now the logins on payload and client. So basically what it did was it made the zones build the out of bounds rectangle options, then create them as wires and send them to the server, or send them through the server to the client. Okay, that makes sense. I wonder if these are going to reflect on the mini-map at all. That would be nice. I would like it to reflect on the mini-map. I won't worry about it too much at the moment, but in the future, I definitely will. Oh, I should also add some deer to the, or add a deer to the spawn. That might cause issues though. do, 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 do. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm just stuck waiting around for things to get fixed. This is a great example of what I need to be fixed. Also, the tiled grass doesn't look anywhere near as bad now that there's other stuff around. I don't see any of the houses on the... Oh, I should probably make... See, I don't see any of the houses on here either. I feel like the houses should be rendered on here and be placeable too. I also feel like these nodes should be colored properly for the resource. Boss arena's ungrouped. Interesting. That explains why the boss arena is overflowing, because the boss arena should... I think the boss arena is fine if it's ungrouped, but it... Also, can we fire projectiles through... We can fire over out of bounds. Quite a bit of... I'm going to close the editor, then I will restart the server 2. So we can check if the issues were resolved. Let's see. Come on, Streamlabs, you gotta pick up the game. Oh. Okay, this is a good sign so far. I can see that this is out of bounds. It's not picked up on the mini-map. Okay, so far so good. Okay. Well, this is a start. This is a start. This is a good start for the changes. The out of bounds is now darkened properly, and I can't walk entirely through it. But the collision is still not applying right on the boundary. Also, the new out of bounds area is not reflected on the mini map. Should be. That last mini map thing is a little bit of extra cope and hope for me. is. Like a tidal wave. What do we have here? Hey, is it already done with these fixes? These fixes were real fast compared to the others then, if they're actually fixed, but... Alright, let's restart. Probably not going to wait for it to necessarily get picked up right away, because I can get into it faster than it decides to actually get picked up. Should just make the section transparent rather than darkening it. That makes it confusing that it isn't treated the same as default out of bounds. Let's see the collision. Yeah, the collision is still not working in the slightest. Collision boundary tile blocked in simulation now uses the same half tile AABB as node block. No. Is still not working properly either. See screenshot and logs. Also, none of the out of bounds decor is rendering in the out of bounds area. It needs to. While this is doing this, I have to step away for a moment. I was kind of hoping it was going to finish this real quick, you know, like that watched pot never boils sort of thing, where you look away and then all of a sudden it's done. Doesn't seem to have been the actual occurrence. Let's see what's going on here, though. So I see that it's talking about the zone transfer payload. Ugh. Now we have the complete picture. The 3 fixes needed. Can place footprint. Check doesn't exclude out of bounds rectangle tiles. Blocks all decor. Client tick has no tile blocked. Player walks through until server connects. Need to send all blocked rects, not just out of bounds ones, to the client for number 2. Is the collision box is still wrong as well? Yeah. I think that might be due to the think it'll be related to the nodes, so I will quickly pull those up. No, it doesn't. Also, I think these are the wrong depleted things. So let's try gathering one of these to the point where it actually is depleted, because I think the wrong stump is going to spawn. No, that's the correct stump. Okay, I stand corrected. It's not the wrong stump that spawns. How's the collision on? Yeah, the stump collision still has broken. Let me check. Let me read the zones. Zones go section around the hard warp payload and the render world can place. What's this talking about for the hard warp? I think there's an issue with how the XY zone or XY coordinates are translated between different different subzones within the full zone. Because no, there shouldn't be, because it's still rendering it's not like the collision detection spot has moved. Rather, it's that the collision detection exceeds exclusively where it's placed. Thinking about what needs to be fixed and how we can specifically fix it. Because it doesn't look like it's in the configuration, so it has to be in the translation to it. There's probably also something in how the multi-zones are determined, because the main town part has correct XY mappings to it, but the town spawn area does not. Anyways, we have to get this out of bounds rendering stuff done first. That's the important part that's going to allow me to make the zones much more interactive. It's like the sub-zoning on extreme, or on a more granular level as well. Wow, that is horrible. I mean, this... Okay, it's working on most parts. Out of bounds decor now spawns. This is good. The east side still allows the player to walk one body width into the out of bounds area now. Also, the minimap out of bounds darkened part is not good. Fix the rendering so that the minimap doesn't look like it has a dark splotch on it. Instead, looks like it is the correct shape. Yeah, I really don't know how to describe that part there. We might have to completely redo how we're rendering the minimap parts, but on the bright side, we now have the out of bounds area showing. The collision on the nodes is still something that needs to be fixed, though. Why is it always collision detection? Everything always comes back to, oh, we aren't colliding correctly now. So what happens if I... Okay, well that's another thing we're gonna have to fix as well. The out of bounds, out of bounds is like, look, I know it's actually in bounds. I can go there. Nope. Hey. Oh. I have to admit, it looks a lot better now that I can have out-of-bounds parts that aren't, not everything has to be pure rectangle now. That's kind of cool. I have a feeling it's just like checking along the other side. So I bet if I could test walking from south to north into one of these new out-of-bounds zones, I bet I would hit a wall there as well.
Also, I wonder if for these I should have like an actual house render. I think this is what I'm going to end up doing. So we'll have like a full house because we haven't really touched the buildings at all in ages. We'll have like the full house render. No, because that's.
How do you think we're doing so far?
It would always look like that because it wouldn't handle rotation very well. We would have to have a completely new method for doing that, and then we would have to have either we would have to define houses or have to define buildings based on just we would need parallax, we would need segments, we would need
Let's just take a minute and praise our leaders for their marvelous job.
I don't think it would look bad, but I think it would be a bit of a pain.
It's not about wealth or power for them, it's about pure love for humanity.
Kind of nice that we have a map editor. That's a major feature, even if it doesn't work perfectly yet.
A virgin world where we can get rich for real, get truly free. Finally,
I wonder if fixing this is gonna also fix the zone transfer. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure the zone transfer is just we're not sending the wire to the new zone as well, so it's not out rendering it for the out of bounds part. Yeah, it's probably just a wire issue. Found it when zone was saved with legacy block tiles pre-rectangle format. All blocked rect is empty, so the client gets nothing, but the server still blocks via block tile set. Fix all build block rects to fall back to compressing the block to tile set. No, I don't want it fully opaque. Well, let's see if our primary concern was fixed. If our primary concern was fixed, then it's much less of an issue. I don't dislike the opaque minimap, but
look and behold. All you can see is for sale, and it's cheap, and it can be yours.
let's go walk into
To make is to lay down your children on the altar of Mammon, and there
side out of bounds zones. The mini map shows pixel bleed near the edge of the zone, right? Dark. Yeah, I don't dislike. Also, the out of bounds section doesn't preload in different sub-zone for the whole zone. This causes it not to show on the mini-map and makes it vanish from the overworld. I think this is due to a wire not being sent for smooth zone transfers. Also, nodes placed. I really shouldn't add this, but it's been driving me crazy and I want to know if it can fix it at the same time. In the zone. Don't have correct collision either. I want to for the herbs and trees placed in zone spawn have much harder hitboxes than the 1x1 we should have. It's not consistent. The extended side is some are 2x1, some 2x2, some non-rectangular. Like don't make any changes for any of these issues, just diagnose and plan a solution. Okay, here we're not looking for any changes. I think this might actually give us a little bit of a better outcome for this if we have it do planning and then try to resolve it, because we're kind of a little off the actual plan documents. So one thing that I can do is I can pop up the map editor here as well, and we can go take a look at one of the other zones. So here specifically, I want to take the forest goblin away here, move them out here, and then down here, take the forest goblin away here, and move them out here. Because I want to add out of bounds. Oh. Want to add plenty of out of bounds up here. I've got to add like a bulk fill option, because doing this tile by tile is quite annoying. It's like doing the Hoenn Gym 8 ice tile thing. And there we go. Or Buttercup. I'm moving that out there. Gotta find wood birch. And then we've got to find the forest goblin again. So we can add out of bounds. This is not as time consuming as figuring it out manually, but definitely still time consuming. We want to add an entire section of out of bounds over here as well. Oh, thank goodness the other nodes spawn on top of them, so I can be more... This is not the world's easiest thing to paint. But at least we get to modify the world now. So I'm adding the out of bounds. There we go. And then this should come out this far as well. So we'll add this over here too. Pixie Games, what's up? Working on an MMO but using Unity 3D. It's cool to see other MMO projects being worked on. There is a few others who stream MMO content, but it's rare. Yeah, I think part of the reason for that is it's a very daunting thing to start. I actually have a group of friends that are working on another MMO as well. They're making it in Hightail as their base. So I'm a firm believer that the best MMOs are still to come out, and that's not just because I'm working on one. What kind of one are you building, and how are you liking Unity? Because I'm explicitly avoiding game engine, like pre-built game engines, because I've tried all of them out and I couldn't get into any of them. It just felt like something was missing from them, so I'm doing a lot of custom stuff. And I finally got my map editor, which means I get to... so I have to remove the herb buttercup there. I'm gonna move this one out a little bit. Gotta remove the goblin here. Don't want to spawn a chupacabra, that would be terrifying. I also need to make this remember in between. I'll add a few more goblins here too. I want the goblins all close into the out-of-bounds areas, as opposed to open areas and close to the town. sci-fi themed, plays like World of Warcraft in terms of systems and how it all plays. Oh, that sounds really cool. What's the last? I can't. The last sci-fi themed game that I could think of would be something like Warframe, I guess, then, or not that sort of sci-fi. I also just realized I haven't even been showing what I'm doing in my map editor here. So I'm currently completely editing one of the close zones. So let me grab wood birch. Remove these. I want to add some birch trees around here. Oh, sorry about that, Pixie. Am I able... I don't think you got timed out for long. I think it was just a very quick one. But yes, I don't have... I have messages with links getting timed out, all caps, and then very long messages, just because I don't want things to get overly spammed. Done all this stuff with Makinga map editor. Basing the world off of X and Y coordinates makes it easy to use JSON templates. Yeah, I have JSON templates as well, but they are very annoying to use sometimes. That's specifically why I built this map editor, because it's tile and X and Y support. Are any of these birch trees? Those ones. Herb. Should probably remove the herbs as well from like this middle part. So I'll remove these. And then I'll place some herbs as well mixed in. These are also blocking, which I'm not sure is going to be the best idea. Maybe I should remove them from blocking. And Cadium, how are you doing today? Yeah, this map editor might be the thing that causes me to make my nodes non-blocking, at least for herbs. Ooh, yeah, I see this becoming troublesome very quickly. I like the trees being blocking, but I don't like... It isn't even looking what I'm up to. I am working on some map editing. I'll show you what this zone kind of looked like before. And then do a reload and see what it looks like now. So, I'm gonna minimize the map editor here before I hit save. So this is the spawn zone right now, which I've been using for bug testing. There's a bit of era stuff which changed. One thing I really like actually is for spells, you have to specifically complete a quick time event. It scales as the spell gets stronger. Melees are a charge, and then range stuff starts a chain, where if you use another ability in that time, you'll get a simple buff to it. Procedural generation usually ends up inferior to making handmade stuff. Yeah, I have a mix of procedural generation stuff and handmade. So right now, this is the zone I was editing before. You'll notice that it's just a very long path with stuff down the middle. Goblins around the side. Like here's the birch trees, etc. I'm gonna walk through here to the next area that has the wolves and the... I'm using all sorts of AI for creating stuff. I have been heavily involved in AI for the better part of a decade, from studying machine learning in university to working on AI proof of concepts for large institutions, and then right now I currently work on data stuff. So I've been trying to use AI in pretty much everything. Sorry, what kind of what is this? Anyways, so now I'm through that zone. You saw what it looked like there. If I close these down, and I actually remember to hit save on the editor first, now start it up again. Right now I just have a lot of placeholder sprites as well, and a lot of stuff are missing sprites. They're like squares in most cases where it's missing sprites, which is fine. So I log back. Oh, look, you can already see so much stuff changed in there. It's not showing out of bounds from that other zone outside yet. So the story is primarily going to be driven through NPC quests. It's not a story progression line. It's more of a free sandbox exploration. So now you'll see, actually, no, these can be blocking because there's actually a lot of room to walk through as long as I get the collision down. The goblins should not be... I think that goblin got stuck out of bounds. I still might want the herbs to be less. So if you want to know sort of how the story is going to work, think of more like how RuneScape handles their stories, where it's a lot of sub-stories and you don't really get pulled through storyline-wise. You kind of have to go and find the stories by doing quests. So we now have, I can add more goblins everywhere. I also need to add like a path down the middle here. So you'll see the out-of-bounds stuff now shows there. Ooh, it's still overlap. So this is the first area. It's supposed to be kind of open, kind of easy to traverse through anyways. I do have buffed abilities right now, but that's beyond the point. So now this actually kind of has shape and a feel to it. Interested in what you're doing with AI, because I build things also on stream and just started up. So basically everything that I'm doing, I'm using Claude off here on the side. Well, right now I'm bug fixing, which I generally just have a conversation with Claude for doing stuff. Right, this was a diagnosis one. If I hide this though, you'll see over here I have what I've been doing for it is I go through and I plan out an entire phase. I create an initial implementation plan for what I plan to cover for it, break that down into individual phases that need to cover specific things, and then have the AI reference back to these documents, as well as all of my where's the folder? Design documents. Here I have all the design documents for sort of how the game has to work, all of the different mechanics, all of the different story elements, all of the different resources and skills and how those work. So that is generally how those are. I'm probably just going to be editing the map a whole bunch today, because even if there's, like, I might just wait until I have my limit back for all of this. Then if I head all the way up to, I'm just going to head through the zones and show the boss, because the bosses have a mechanic that I really like. Basically, and right now it's just set to 1 in, like every time I fight it. But what's going to happen is every time that a certain number of fights happen with the boss, it takes all of the combat logs from those fights and it actually trains the boss to act differently. It gives it more projectiles, gives it more health, gives it better aim, gives it essentially more damage, more ways to deal with the players. So this should push players away from being sort of an average from the average strategy. So that's the boss. Again, I'm very buffed and it only has 500 HP to start because it's still for testing. You'll see down here I have hey, I want my drawing tool. Right in here you'll see all of the boss training that was done. So it basically took one fight 12 seconds because I have all my buffed abilities, the damage that it took, the abilities that the boss used, and then it will show the buffs, or the way that it's buffing. So it got an HP buff, it got an aiming change, and then a cooldown reduction on it. Is there a world map that you are able to work towards progressing based on level. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but as it sort of stands is you can go pretty much anywhere. You just have to be able to not die as you're running through it. Again, for if you've played a lot of RuneScape at all, that's where that sort of world exploration way comes from, where most things are going to be accessible, but there might just be mobs there that one bop you. And then, so really the MMOs I've primarily played have been RuneScape, WoW, and Realm of the Mad God, which I've always liked the pixel art sort of stuff, so that's why I'm doing that. Then WoW is fairly cool I like the combat of WoW a lot, so I'm going to actually close this part and reopen my map editor. Reopen the map editor. So, here I can only zoom out so far. I need to make it so that I can zoom out farther in the map editor. I literally just made the map editor today. This is what this group is the danger zone. I didn't actually walk over to it. Here's the boss arena that I was fighting, and here is the forest. So, what I'm going to be doing right now is Realm of the Mad God is a lot of fun if you like bullet hells. So what I'm going to be doing right now is probably removing everything from here. Oh, I don't know why the mouse X and Y aren't working correctly. They don't map one-to-one necessarily. Basically, I'm going to be turning this zone into almost like a donut zone. So that means I have to remove a lot of the stuff from around the edges as well as around the center. Now I'm going to take some of the spawns away. These are just wolf spawns in here. This zone is going to be actually kind of terrifying because right now the wolves are very scary when they decide to just jump on people. So then I'm going to add a whole bunch of out of bounds. I really like, so the out of bounds is something that I was able to get working yesterday, where it procedurally generates sort of the procedurally generates a lot of the decor that shows up in it. So that means that basically what happens is anytime I add out of bounds, everyone sees the same thing, but it's all rendered client side rather than having to do any server processing. So it basically uses seed data to determine, hey, this is where stuff should be. Client, you need to render stuff here as well. It actually turned out to be a real efficient implementation for it, and I'm really happy with it. Now, what I wish I had was a fill option here. Because yeah, my key focus on this is to a couple of different things. One, I want to make sure that the game is actually primarily fun to play. I want to enjoy the combat for it. I want to enjoy the skill collection stuff as well, and then making it, adding story and the appearance of it can kind of be changed as things progress and change. But I primarily want to make sure that the combat is fun. I want to make it very modular in how people are able to use their abilities and skills. And then, oh my gosh, I'm doing this again. Map editor, there we go. So basically, I'm trying to make this a donut zone. But I don't have a fill option, which means I have to try to color in every single pixel of it. I wonder if it would be faster for me to just get the AI to modify the map editor to have a fill. This is fine when it's small areas, but it's not fine when it's like a massive section. And I don't want to just get it added right now because that'll mess up the context for the next fix that has to happen. Also, speaking of which, I should probably go over what the fix is, but I don't want to spend time. This is the tool that I just built for it. I literally didn't have this 2 hours and 9 minutes ago. I had nothing. I had to... Before I built this tool today, what I had to edit was I had to... where are they? Data zones. I had to manually edit these files here, and that's just miserable. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, but unfortunately, I'm gonna run out of context on the next change, and like I said, I didn't have anything at all for this today. So going from nothing to something is better. Actually, honestly, the easiest thing for me to do for this is gonna be... I'm gonna close this without saving it, reopen it. There we go. And then I'm gonna grab the out of bounds tool, and I'm gonna put like 4 corner dots. So if I add those there, save that, then I go over to the zones. This is forced zone mid. Okay, didn't test it on Claude Desktop, but Cursor has image generation built in, so you can... I don't have Cursor. I primarily just use Claude for any of the changes. Okay, so what do I have here? Mid, then out of bounds. Okay, here's exactly what I want. If I look at spawn, how... Okay, so I take min and max and put it into a single one. I'm not sure which of these is... Okay, so... This is gonna take a little bit of trial and error. If I take the out of bounds and I remove that one and remove this one, save the map, then do this, save it and reopen the map editor. There we go. That's... Oh, and of course it doesn't pick it up right away. I don't know why it takes my VS Code so long to actually open up the map editor again. Or technically this happens with the game and the map editor. That did update it though. Building tools for 3rd day in a row. But Opus 5 is such a beast right now. Should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, the one weird thing I've noticed though is the AIs don't seem to be very good at collision detection, which is a shame because I'm also not very good at collision detection. And by that, I mean, I've tried it like, I think I've done like 5 different implementations of collision detection, and I always run into issues with it. Every single time. Now I can do a little bit more actual editing of the zone. Also, I might as well just add a couple of the spots where I want there to be out of bounds as well. This is definitely a lot better than having to mess with the JSON files directly. Okay, so how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I take these away, that should make it much more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Good estimate for the zone. And my goal here is I need to make these a lot, or these zones feel a lot more contiguous than they do currently. Build SC2. What is SC2 clone right now? And I'm not familiar with SC2. And I used it because it has community-driven bots out there, so copy and adapt known patterns is much easier for me. Yeah, that's true. They do a very good job at that, but I also like being the one that drives the patterns. I like that I'm getting to use a lot of the patterns that I had created for other things. Because a lot of the things that I started with, I basically pulled over from my other projects and adapted directly in. Oh, StarCraft 2, very cool. StarCraft 2 has some great mod games on it. It's also kind of funny because I could just draw these as outlines and then be like, yeah, you can see the zone in there, but you can't access it. Yeah, the most time I've ever spent on StarCraft 2 was playing the Cutelings modded game on there. It's like the tower defense one where you've got to try to clear a realm as well. That was a lot of fun. I was never good at it. I'm not great at real-time strategy games. So the mouse X and Y is very correct here, but it does not track well up in the main zone, which is weird. It's fun. Don't know exactly why you're doing it, but it's a ride. Sometimes it being fun is all the reason you need. And then if you end up getting good results from it, that's even better. Yeah, this tool is definitely going to consume a fair bit of my time updating it and making it work correctly. I'll probably just block out a bunch of areas this way as well. Because I can come back and fill these in at any time, especially if I add the correct fill option, which I might do tonight when I'm puttering on this as well. Okay, and then I know down here is going to be an entrance to another zone. I think it'll be more so off on this part. So I also need to increase this part of the zone, or of the blocked area. This part of blocked area. Right over top of the wolf. Block the wolf in. Basically, if you're wondering what this zone here is going to be, this is actually going to be where another boss battle is going to go, or another boss arena is going to go. So might as well get that set in place now. I think this is too much. Thank you. Hope to see you around again. If you're interested in seeing how it goes, feel free to drop a follow. I'm pretty much live working on it every single day, and it's going to be a long project, so don't expect it to be done anytime soon. And I would love to hear about your other projects that you're working on for it, or for yours as well. Where exactly do I want that zone to go? That'll be good enough. I can move mobs and stuff around now. So I want to move the spawns. These are going to be all of the wolves and the forest wolf. So make sure that nothing is in the I know every mob in here at the moment is a forest mob. So I'm gonna just get these sort of blocked in along the outside, or along the outskirts. Because these are kind of scary mobs. If they jump on you, it can turn out very poorly. I'm also noticing I have a propensity for placing them in groups of 3. So I think that's good for the forest wolves, and then I'm going to add the regular wolves as well. You can also see over here I have to click way above. These are going to be mixed in with the forest wolves too. I don't know if I should be keeping these mobs to the outside parts necessarily. I can block off specific places with them too. These need to be just sort of the default mob spawns as well, because we do have another method which is specifically the overflow. I think if I go to O, then I'm in overflow. Yeah. So. What nodes do I want to place around here? I know I'm going to need to start with wood birch. I'm probably going to remove all of the different nodes that exist in here at the moment and come back to placing all of them. So this way, because there's no colors that show up specifically for each of these, all of the nodes themselves just show as green, which I'm going to need to change. So that means I now have birch trees selected. So every green node is going to be a birch tree. Again, this is literally in the middle of a forest, so I want there to be lots of these nodes around. This area is supposed to have less herbs, more trees. Open areas are probably not a great idea either. Just in terms of having empty space that there's nothing to really do at. but we're gonna have to test out this zone anyways. So that's the birch trees currently. Now we're gonna add. First off, we're gonna add iron ore. So I know I want there to be sort of like an iron ore mine or vein back here. I wanted to put a little outcrop of them around as well in the sort of area nearby. These will almost act as incentives to explore more for where the ores are. And then I want to actually make sure I'm placing some pine woods as well, just interspersed as well, because this is not necessarily just a forest or just a birch forest. It makes sense for there to be other spawns. There we go. And we also have wood larch. And I'm placing these mainly in areas that have low density currently. So I know the places where I haven't filled in much yet are going to be a bit of a pain. I'm going to save this first off before anything happens. Close that and reopen it. So, oh, probably helps if I turn the server back on too. So we'll go take a look at sort of what was just edited now to see what it looks like. Make sure I actually turn the sprites back on. I'm not sure how I feel about the minimap actually showing all of that. Are these regular wolves or forest wolves? Regular wolves. Less scary than the forest wolf kind. Funny, nothing actually gets spawned on these. Well, some stuff does, I guess. Doesn't look bad. It looks a little weird, but that's just because these are all placeholder sprites at the moment. Probably could do with even more mobs too. But moving around in it doesn't feel bad either, which is the good thing. I don't know about having this large of a mine, but we'll see how things go. I need to get the out of bounds stuff resolved. I need to address where the boss arena is going to be. Definitely need to fix a lot regarding the I don't even know what. The area looks good though, and the quote-unquote empty area is not bad. I really need to make the trees look better, but I was worried more so about the density of it for being able to walk around stuff. If the mobs were too close, I can probably actually add more mobs. I can add them blocking specific resources as well. But it's nice kind of having the zone feel more full and alive. The wolf can just walk in. Okay, I'm gonna have to worry about that. I need to figure out what I'm doing with the minimap as well, because the minimap kind of just gets full of random dots and it doesn't look great. Also need to figure out what I'm doing with the size of zones, if I'm going to be able to just make them larger. Anyways, it's looking pretty good. We made a lot of progress today. I think I am going to have to end it there for now, though. So, lots of good progress today, lots to come. I'm going to have to be messing around with the map editor, which I'll probably be doing a fair bit later today as well. If you are interested in seeing where this game ends up and you've been lurking around, feel free to drop a follow and tune back in again. I work on this basically every single day, and it's going to be a very long project. Right now, everything's like placeholders. We've got a large amount of the main mechanics. We've got a large amount of the main mechanics in place right now, and we're basically just designing the world as the first iteration of it, and we will be addressing that again later. So that's it for me today.